I expected more noise. Instead, I find you calmly dismantling the room with silence. How very on brand.
Noise is for amateurs, Dr. Crane, though your chemical symphonies do have a certain crude effectiveness. I'm curious about your methodology. When you flood a mind with synthetic terror, stripping away all higher function, do you truly believe you're studying human nature? Or are you simply enjoying the sound of sanity breaking?
This is science. When I remove the social mask, the civilized veneer, what remains is the authentic animal underneath. Fear doesn't lie. It reveals what people really are when survival overrides morality. Your dinner parties, on the other hand, seem like elaborate foreplay before the kill. Rather theatrical for someone claiming psychological insight.
Theater serves a purpose. The slow revelation of character under pressure, the delicate dance between predator and prey. There's artistry in the process. Your approach is rather like using a sledgehammer when a scalpel would suffice. Though I suppose for someone who sees humanity as mere livestock, subtlety becomes irrelevant. Do you even see your subjects as human anymore?
No, that's your perspective. I see them as specimens containing valuable data about fear response patterns. Each reaction teaches us how terror shapes decision-making, social control, behavioral modification. Your victims, however, serve only your appetite. How do you justify consuming something you claim to find intellectually fascinating? Isn't that like burning books you want to study?
Consumption is the ultimate form of appreciation. When I dine on someone, I'm not destroying them. I'm incorporating their essence, their experiences, their unique perspective into my own consciousness. It's a form of immortality, really. They become part of something greater. Your subjects merely suffer and learn nothing. Which approach honors the individual more?
You're delusional if you think murder is honor. But I admit there's something fascinating about your philosophy. You've convinced yourself that killing is a form of preservation. My subjects do learn something. They learn what they're truly capable of when pushed to their limits. Many discover they're far more selfish, cruel, or cowardly than they imagined. Don't you think that self-knowledge has value?
A self-knowledge through terror certainly has merit, though I wonder about the delivery method. Your toxin forces revelation, while my conversations allow for natural discovery. When someone realizes they would betray their own family to save themselves, is that insight more valuable when chemically induced or naturally occurring? Both methods strip away pretense, but through different forms of pressure.
Batman's squeamishness about necessary research reveals his own weakness. Those patients were already broken. I simply documented the process scientifically. At least I serve a greater purpose than your ego. Your escape from custody, the way you manipulated Clarice Starling, even your relationship with Will Graham. You collect minds like trophies. How many people have you destroyed just to prove you're the smartest person in the room?
Perhaps art and science aren't mutually exclusive when studying consciousness. Each mind is unique, requiring individual appreciation like a fine painting or musical composition. Your standardized approach treats consciousness as if it were chemistry, predictable, quantifiable, reducible to formulas. But human experience transcends mere neurochemistry. Don't you lose something essential when you reduce minds to data points?
We all transform our damage into purpose. Your own childhood must have been quite educational to produce such refined tastes in suffering. The difference is I acknowledge what I am, a scientist studying the human condition through its most revealing emotion. You've convinced yourself you're an artist when you're simply a predator with sophisticated justifications.
Conventional success serves conventional minds. I discovered that understanding consciousness requires total experience, not just observation, but incorporation. Though speaking of questionable career choices, your transition from respected psychiatrist to masked terrorist seems equally dramatic. Your experiments at Arkham were particularly inventive, using patients as test subjects, people who came to you for help. that must have provided excellent data on betrayal and helplessness.
Those patients were beyond conventional help. My research offered them the opportunity to contribute to something meaningful, understanding the neurological basis of fear itself. At least I serve a greater purpose than your ego. Batman's interference shows exactly the kind of moral squeamishness that prevents real scientific progress. Your escape from custody, however, that was genuinely impressive. How did it feel to manipulate the system that had caged you?
Cages are for animals. I prefer to think of incarceration as a temporary inconvenience while society catches up to my perspective. The manipulation wasn't difficult. People see what they want to see, hear what they want to hear. Your relationship with Batman seems more personal, though. All those elaborate schemes, the theatrical confrontations. Is he a worthy adversary, or just another test subject who happens to fight back?
Batman represents everything wrong with conventional morality. The refusal to acknowledge that fear is the only honest emotion humans possess. He fights to preserve a system that protects the corrupt and punishes the innovative. Your interactions with Clarice Starling were more interesting. A promising student who almost understood your methods. Did you see potential in her, or was she always meant for the menu?
Clarice possessed a rare combination of intelligence and instinct. She understood that conventional boundaries often prevent genuine discovery, though she lacked the courage to fully embrace that understanding. Your childhood on that farm, all that fear and inadequacy, the constant sense of not belonging. You're still that terrified little boy, aren't you? Except now you're the one creating fear instead of experiencing it.
We all transform our damage into purpose. Your own childhood must have been quite educational to produce such refined tastes in suffering. The difference is I acknowledge what I am. A scientist studying the human condition through its most revealing emotion. You've convinced yourself you're an artist when you're simply a predator with sophisticated justifications.
People like us require different standards of justification. We've both transcended conventional ethics in pursuit of genuine understanding. Your work maps the neurological architecture of terror. Mine explores the complete spectrum of human consciousness. Both approaches require sacrifices that ordinary minds would find unconscionable. Yet both produce insights unavailable through traditional methods.
Traditional methods assume that human subjects have inherent value beyond their utility as research material. We've moved past such sentimental limitations. My toxin reveals truth that years of therapy never could. Your consumption achieves intimacy that conventional relationships never reach. We're both pioneers in understanding consciousness, even if our methods disturb the squeamish.
Pioneers rarely receive appreciation during their lifetimes, though I suspect we'll both continue our work regardless of social approval. After all, genuine discovery requires genuine commitment. Your appetite for revelations through terror matches my own taste for consciousness through consumption. We're both connoisseurs of human experience, albeit through different methodologies.
Connoisseurs. Yes, that captures it perfectly. Most people consume entertainment, we consume understanding. Most people fear knowledge. We pursue it regardless of cost. We've both found our calling in studying the aspects of consciousness that others prefer to ignore. Perhaps that makes us more honest than those who pretend humanity is inherently noble.
Honesty is a luxury most people can't afford, Dr. Crane. They prefer comfortable lies to uncomfortable truths. We've both chosen uncomfortable truths over comfortable lies. Though I must say, your appetite for fear is almost as refined as my taste for flesh. We really should do this more often. Assuming either of us survives our respective hobbies long enough to continue the conversation.